Welcome back to Far Kingdoms, episode 24.
Is that correct? Are you sure?
I'm 90% positive.
Oh, that's
correct.
pretty low compared to like the usual estimates. It's usually like 98 or 99.
I don't think there's ever been a percentage estimate about what... It's just, we just kind of are unsure. But this is the first time I put a percentage.
Yeah, I mean, usually we're like, oh yeah, it's like 24, and then at the end of the episode we check it and it's like 22.
Well, it's 24. I'm gonna say it's 24.
Weren't we 2 episodes off last time? Or something?
I think I said 24 last time when it was 23.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now, for sure. For sure it's 24.
Yeah, it's 24. And if
For
if
sure.
it isn't 24, I'll eat a pack of Oreos.
Oh no, the madman.
Yeah,
This man's gonna eat a pack of Oreos alive.
Yeah. If I don't get it, I'll eat dinner.
Holy shiza. This man's risking his whole career to eat dinner. I don't know. Do you notice how people like the crazy people actually follow up on those the weird shit, like I'll eat a shoe or I'll eat a sock, and then they just fucking deep fry a sock and they eat it with like a fork? It's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Like,
it's mostly like
I
people
respect
just...
you, but I also disrespect you.
Most people just say that for the attention, but there are some people who are like, I'm gonna go above and beyond and actually do the dumbass thing that I said I would do.
And then it's
But
just
I think that's also like a bit of that attention grabbing thing, because it's like, oh, he's actually gonna do it.
this
Oh.
man's actually eating a sock. Oh my god. It's like, ew. Why? Why would you ever do that to yourself? I don't know. Anyway, episode 24. Last session was yesterday, and it was pretty short. It's pretty short. Would you say like a little less than 3 hours, or just around 3 hours?
We started at 8, so and we
finished
ended
at 11-ish.
like, yeah, around 11. So yeah, probably a bit less than 3 hours. Yeah, you're probably
That's
correct
on the
there.
shorter side of sessions. Am I right to say not a lot actually happened? I mean, a lot happened, but like in the grand scheme of things, not a lot really happened.
I mean, you could say that about anything, right? I'd say for this one, a fair bit happened, at least more than the previous session, which was mostly combat. That one you can say not a lot happened. Like,
Really?
we talked to like 1 or 2 people, and then we had combat for the entire session. But this one, you know, we're going places. We're getting chased, and then we're in the city, and then there's a fight in the city, and then we talk to the guy, and then we get on the ship, and we're going to the next place. So
Yeah.
yes, it's a short span of time, but in terms of actual action, narrative action in the session, it's jam-packed. Or not jam-packed, but there's a fair bit.
I guess it's relative for me because this session I actually didn't do much as a DM. I was just kind of there, and there was like there was some times where I'm just like I'll talk, but it's mostly just you guys, and that was really good. I'd say like 90% of the session was just like you guys kind of talking to each other. Would you agree with that? I mean,
Yes.
maybe like 70%.
Sure.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
What do you think?
It's a good thing.
I think I know what you're gonna say, because you always say, I love it when you guys talk, because I don't have to do anything.
Actually, I don't know.
You
I
changed
felt
it?
like this session in particular. Obviously, it's a good thing, but I was like, "Hey, I want to play too. Hey, let me play too." But I can't do anything. I'm just the music guy now. I'm just the guy in the music.
So
and then
you change your
and then
stance
even
on
then
it.
during the music,
Why?
Matt DM'd me. He's like, "Hey, can I put on some sad music?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm playing sad music. Why are you gonna change it?" And then he put on sad music, so I didn't even get to play music. And I was just like, "Oh, I guess I'll be
So
here."
what changed? What changed? Why is sitting back
Maybe
no longer fun?
that session I just wanted to play some more. I was like we got edged for like another week because we played Kagamatsu and I didn't have anything prepped for that week. So now this week I was like, hell yeah, let's go. And then I didn't. And then by the time we got to the end of the session, I was like, wait, if we keep going, it's probably gonna go until like 12:30 or 1 o'clock. So we might as well stop now instead. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But I
I don't
thought
have
you
a
liked
reason.
that. I thought you liked doing, like, not doing anything.
I guess people change. I don't know. Maybe next session it'll be the same thing. It'll be like, oh yeah, I like not doing anything. It's just a mood, you know. It's just a vibe.
Well, it wasn't your time to shine. Everyone gets their time to shine, okay? Everyone gets their time to shine.
True. Alright.
So and everyone doesn't get their time to shine. And for you, was this session out of what, like 60 sessions? You know what I mean?
DM should always get time to shine. How dare you? No, yeah, it was good. There was some legitimate moments when I was pretty close to like getting somewhat emotional. I guess we'll get to that. Shall we start with a recap?
Well, just to answer your question, yes, I do think it's a good thing that the characters are interacting with each other, because I mean, you kind of need that to reinforce the bond that is there in between the party members. Otherwise, it's just we're all doing this stuff like together, but we're not actually in it together, you know what I mean? We're just all in the same place by circumstance, and there's no relationship there.
Yeah, and this forges the bonds between the blood brothers. Speaking of recaps, what did you think of my recap of last session? Of last session?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like one of Matt Mercer's recaps, how he does like... It's very TV-esque how they do, like, they call back to things way back to establish things that happen, you know, in the last session. Whereas, you know, if we were talking in comparison to normal recap standards, we just recap whatever happened in the last session. You know, there's no build up. We just assume that everyone knows, and almost everyone pretty much knows what happens last session, and like the follow up, the lead up to that. So yeah, it was a bit more professional. Maybe is that the kind of thing you were thinking of doing when you thought maybe I should do the recaps instead of the players? Were you thinking of doing it like that more often?
I think those will be more on the rare side, because once you hear it once, you don't really need to hear it again. Like, you guys, like, after I said it, you guys know that X guy is bad guy, he's doing bad things in X capital of X city and X continent, and like, I don't know, I feel like, do you think repetition will kind of kill the important vibes of that, or what?
Maybe. I don't know. We haven't really had anything like that before. I mean, I think we can assume, yes, it would get boring after a while, or we get sick of hearing the same thing over and over.
Yeah. So I think in that sense, it would become more of a rare thing. But I think every now and then it's a good idea to kind of remind the players the overall arcing plot or story or bad guy and their main goal at the end of the day, just to kind of direct them in the right direction, you know?
Yeah. I want to bring something up, right? I've been noticing it over the past few sessions. Do you know when you describe things, you use the word kinda a lot?
Oh yeah.
Like, there were some times where you would be describing one thing and you'd say kinda like 7 times within like 3 sentences. And I wish I hadn't started noticing that, because that's all I can hear now. It's all I can hear now.
I think it's just because my vocabulary isn't... Look, there it is again. My vocabulary isn't wide enough or diverse enough that I can't... Or just my memory just sucks that I can't find the word to describe the exact kind of feeling. There it is. The exact feeling I want. And so I just have to take a moment to think. And then I can't think of it. So I just think of a word that is similar but not quite it. So therefore the word is kind of like that. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Okay, so it's not just a filler word. Like, I feel like even that, like, if you just said like he stood up instead of he kind of stands up, you know,
I don't think
like
I'd ever say that.
I yeah, look, you say it a lot, and maybe it's that. I don't really know why you say that, but like people say, filler words all the time.
That's true.
But
A
yeah,
lot of almonds.
I just can't stop noticing it now. Whenever
That's too bad. I'm not going to take steps to fix that. I mean, I probably will. Oh yeah, I don't know how to fix that. It's probably just more of a conscious thing. Thanks for pointing that out. I guess I'll take that into account later on, and if I catch myself saying it, I'll be like, oh, there's the thing. I'm not sure if that's actually going to remedy the problem itself, but food for thought.
yes.
Hey,
Why aren't you talking?
hey, I thought you were going to talk.
No, I wasn't going to talk.
You derailed me, so I forgot what I was saying. So I was like,
I
hey,
think
you gotta bring me back to where I was.
I think you were going to go back to the recap.
Yeah, but like there was something between that, because I was talking about recap good, recap bad, and then direct people in the right direction. Do you notice that? How when I say like I can't find the word, so I just say like I can't find a word that's similar, so I just say the same word twice. I don't just like direct you in the right direction because I can't figure out what the other word is. It's like direct, compass, navigate, point you in the right direction. See, that's the word. I don't know. I feel like it's just something that comes with time. Although I say that I've DM'd for like 60 sessions and it still hasn't come with time. So I don't know if I should just have a dictionary by my side and just flip through it. But
maybe like just being more intentional about how you're saying things, like taking it slow. And if you can't think of the word, then just pause for a moment, and then when it comes, you say it. Unless if it takes 30 seconds to think up.
See, that's the thing. It takes quite a while to try to remember the word. I don't know. Do I? Kind of. See, now you're making me think about all the times I've said kinda. Kinda.
You see, this is the thing. This is the thing where it's me just noticing it, and now that I've pointed it out, I feel like if the other players listen to when you describe things, they're gonna start noticing.
And then they're gonna point it out, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, shut up. Let me talk." I don't know. I feel like I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do instead? I'm gonna find a synonym for kinda and just say that instead, and just keep using synonyms instead of kinda. Like sort of. I don't know. Is it a big deal for you?
It is kind of distracting.
Slightly.
See, I just use kind of just now. It is
remotely, vaguely, somewhat.
It is slightly distracting. Just like it probably wouldn't have been as distracting if you didn't do it as often. But it's there all the time, and it keeps popping up.
I don't know. I think that's just the way I talk as a person, rather than the way I DM. I don't know. I guess I'll use words like fairly, reasonably, comparatively, relatively, instead of kind of, because there's not really a word.
So when you say like someone looks at you, do they sort of look at you? Do they kind of look at you, or do they just look at you?
I mean, if they're looking not directly at you, but in your direction,
so they give you
kind
a
of
side
looking
eye
at you. No, giving you a side eye is completely different. Side eye that's not it. Because side eye, you're intentionally looking at somebody just out of the corner of your eye. If you're sort of looking at somebody, it's like, well, they're kind of in that direction. See, kind of in that direction, but they just happen to be there. So they're fairly, moderately, relatively looking at you.
There's one moment where I remember, which is when Storm was talking to Thunder after he had killed Radalak. And there was like this an emotional moment where Thunder was like, "Hey, don't come looking for me again." And you said he was kind of looking at Storm. He was kind of looking at, but like, what else is he gonna look at? Is he like looking into the distance, or is he like he's got this like faraway look in his eyes? In that context, wouldn't he just be looking at Storm, like, because he's being very serious?
I believe the context of the situation. All right, we'll do the recap first, since it's kind of at the start of it anyway. So at the start of the session, I do this big recap of pretty much the whole main story so far, the arc, whatever, blah blah blah, and then we kind of jump right into it as it kind of crescendos, climaxes. There it is again, as it climaxes or crescendos to that point where we kind of left off. There it is again, as we left off the last session, and it hits the point where Thunder has taken his blade out of Radalak's back, and there's this moment where, because his full plate helmet is on, you can't really see his expression, you can only see his eyes, and his eyes are this burning, kind of bright, there it is again, incandescent, bright orange flame, similar to all the other paladins of the cleansing order of the cleansing flame. And he
we never remember
doesn't
that name.
want to look at Storm. He intentionally looks away from Storm, but when he talks to him, his eyes flit up to him to look not directly at him, but more just in his general direction, which is kind of looking at him in a more simplistic way, I guess. So it's like, you know when a dog does something they shouldn't do, and you kind of telling them off. There it is again, and you're telling them off, and their eyes just kind of flit. There it is again. They kind of flit back and forth between their owner and just in like a random general direction because they're guilty. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
It's that.
Okay.
But I'm not going to use that metaphor in a rather serious moment. It's a look of guilt and shame.
Okay. All right. Then what happens?
No. But we're back to the point where you're like, hey,
we're going back to this?
Yeah, because we're back here, right? I just wanted to build up back to this
describe it
moment.
like he's looking at Storm, then he's not looking at Storm, and his eyes are flicking back and forth.
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be a more vivid description of?
It's just in the heat of the moment. It doesn't come to you.
Yeah, sure. I can appreciate that. But I'm just saying that would be an alternative. That is an alternative.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe, I guess in future sessions, I will take a longer moment to think and talk.
Yeah. And then what happens?
I just think that in the heat of the moment, right? It's pace breaking? I don't know. Is that the right word to use? Maybe immersion breaking is the better word. Where it's not like a strict back and forth one-to-one conversation. If someone's always pausing a few seconds to try to remember what they should or shouldn't say. I guess it's similar to you guys when you roleplay your characters, where you're trying to think of the right words to say, but I think as DM, have to describe the atmosphere of the room, the lighting, the smell, the touch, the feel, whatnot. So there's a few other things just kind of running through my mind that I'm just like, I'm gonna hit them with the kinda. You know, just like, it's kind of a dark and dim room. It's kind of glowing in this red luminescent light and the stench of blood and whatever is in the atmosphere kind of thing. I don't know, maybe it's just you're right, it's just a filler word because I can't think of the correct or the more descriptive term to use in the heat of the moment. I don't know. See, now that you said it, I can't stop thinking about it.
Look, see, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. This is why I kind of didn't want to say it.
Hey.
Then I just said it. You know, you got me saying it. But that's why I think it's good
that you said it. because now I'm gonna be very conscious about
Well,
it.
now I was like on edge because you're like trying to justify why you're saying it. So like, was it a good idea to bring it up in the first place?
No,
'Cause
this is
maybe it
good.
was
This is a good
intentional?
topic of conversation. It's definitely
Okay.
not intentional, for sure, and I definitely agree that it's not a good thing. But I do need to justify why I do it, not because, actually no, yeah, it's because because I just can't think of anything else. Just in the moment, I just can't think of anything. I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of like that. It kind of do be like that. But
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
you're right. I agree.
I mean, these speaking properly, not that you are not speaking, well, speaking more articulately, I should say, does take practice. And I'm also working on trying to speak more properly, better, more articulately. Now that I'm trying to speak, I'm getting all jammed up in my brain.
It takes a certain skill set to speak with eloquence.
Well, it not even that. It just takes practice. It just takes being intentional and being aware of how you're speaking. But yeah, in the heat of the moment, yes, I can see definitely you've got a lot on your plate. You're doing many things at once. You kind of trying to cut down on brain power in order to get a semblance of what you mean out to the audience. I get that.
It's the ability to transfer what you see in your head to words out of your mouth, and that's something I need to work on. Also, I want to blame it on cum jars, because I was thinking about that for like the first 20 minutes of the session.
What?
And I was just like, ew, I hate this. But it's there, and it's always in my head.
Why'd you bring that up?
Why wouldn't I bring that up? That dominated the first 15 minutes of the session.
Oh, you mean the session just now?
Yeah.
Talking about cum jars.
Yeah.
I mean, that was before the session, right? That
Yeah.
was like the pre.
And I was just
the
like, I was
pre-session.
thinking about that, because when I write my recaps, I write them word for word, right? So I'm just kind of reading off a kind of like a script. Oh, there it is. Monk. Oh shit. There it is. So I'm reading off a script, and because my because my monitor is I have two monitors, right? And one of them's to the side. I just kind of move. Oh, motherfucker! I move my OneNote to the monitor where you guys are. So I'm just staring at the script instead of staring at you guys, because if I read off the script, I'm gonna be looking off to the side instead of looking at you guys, and I feel like that is a disservice to you guys.
Then
Is that
we're
a
not,
weird thing?
we're not looking at each other. Come on, dude. Like
Wait, I look at you guys all the time.
we don't look in the camera. None of us look in the camera.
What the fuck? I always look at the camera. I mean, I look at
That's
you
just-
guys, and the camera just happens to
At
be
least for
right
me,
above me.
that's just you. That's just you. I'm looking at Lewis. I'm looking at Aiden, who are looking down, probably looking at me, looking at Matt. You know, we're not really looking at each other unless we're at the table. We're not looking at each other. We're just kind of
Hey,
looking at the screen, never looking at the camera. Never looking at the camera. I never look at the camera.
I don't look at the camera. I look at you guys, but my camera just happens to be right on top of you guys. So I'm pretty
Okay,
much.
I meant looking directly
Oh no,
at
I
the
don't
camera
do that.
where it
I
looks
never
like
do that.
where.
No.
Okay, so no one does that. No one does. That's what I'm saying. No one looks in the camera, which I thought was what you meant.
No.
But I am looking at the squares in which you pop up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because if I look at my other monitor, I'm just looking in like a completely different direction to my left, and it's like I'm not even talking to you guys anymore. I'm just reading, and that feels weird. I don't know.
But is that any different from when you're reading descriptions off your laptop in person?
I think it is
I'm okay with
because you guys are still in front of me at that point. It's not like I'm shifting my head like all the way to the left to read, because I read. I actually, most of the time I don't actually read word for word. I just kind of have what I want to read, and then I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's next. I look up at you guys, I'm like, this is what's happening. These are the words I use to describe this situation. I look down, it's like, okay, this is next, and I do the same thing over and over until I reach the end of X script or X description box. I don't know. I guess that's one of the differences in online and offline. I don't know.
Well, get in the comments. Is that a problem?
Okay.
Should Albert never read off his monitor?
Would you like me to stare at the camera more often? Let us know.
Right into the peephole of the camera.
I don't know. I'm somewhat happy with myself for the recap. I liked the way I wrote that. I'm gonna be proud and stroke my own ego a little bit. And I think I did well in my head. I did well with the thunderstorm semi-confrontation. The confrontation was pretty much over by the point where we started. But I don't know. I guess from an outside perspective, it's a lot of kinders. And now I'm like, oh shit. I guess I'm a kinda man. I guess I kinda. Oh no, I'm gonna be thinking about this for like at least the next 15 minutes, just like the jars.
Well, it's a journey. It's a journey. And
I'll tell you what's a journey. Radillac dying, and you guys, I really expected, honestly, because there was a moment where, I guess we go back to the recap, where Thunder's like, flee, go away, I did this for Mom, and the ships are coming over the horizon, and you guys are like, oh shit, we gotta take Radillac, and then we gotta take the gem, and then Tokul is like, hey, can I revive him? And Thunder's like, no, how dare you? And then you guys take Radillac's body anyway. And then you guys don't even revive him after that just because Thunder said not to revive him. I really thought you were going to try again.
I thought we were outside the window by that point.
Oh, the 60-second window?
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Otherwise, yeah, I was thinking the same thing as Tokul. Like, just revive him on the spot and then let's skedaddle. But I think that Thunder was, has aggressive posture, and we thought, okay, we're going to get another scrap if we revive him here. And I think after we were out of there, the window
60 seconds
passed.
were up?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Solved your mystery.
Maple activates the ship with a natural 20 plus 10 plus 2 plus like 7 or something, so like 39. I'm just like, wow, that's a large roll, sir. He got good rolls this session.
I mean, it was like just when Ryan's last session, we all start getting our 20s back. We all start rolling 20s. They come back again.
What a coincidence. What a coincidence.
It's not just superstition. It's fact.
It's a placebo effect. It's that bad juju, good juju.
Dice juju is real. It's real.
I don't know.
It's real.
Know.
Even Aiden does it.
All you want.
You know what Aiden's ritual is? Has he told it? He like rolls all his d20s from his big sack, and he picks the highest ones, and like these are like the good dice.
The blessed dice this day.
He does that every session. At least in person, he does that.
I just look at the dice that look nice. I'm like, I want to use you today, and that's my thought process.
Well, I have these really nice looking ones, the white and the blue ones.
The classics. Yep.
Those the snow dice, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we've come to be calling them. But they're shit. They always roll so low. They look good, but that's it. That's all they're good for.
That's just placebo. That's just placebo. You roll them some more, you'll get some 20s.
And I have like these butt ugly green ones that roll super good. So I'm always using these fugly dice over the beautiful snow dice, you know what I mean?
You also rolled a natural 20 this session as well.
I did.
Oh, we'll get to that. Maple powers up the Acheron, which you guys know, discover its name later on from Ravonaar. I was kind of giving you the opportunity to rename it yourselves, and then he asked what it used to be named. I'm just like, I guess he knows what it used to be named, so I just kind of gave it. I gave it. I didn't kind of give it. I gave it to Aiden. The Acheron.
Yeah, that's a fine name. We don't need to go muddying up, calling it the Pussy Slayer or some bullshit like that.
I don't know if anyone was gonna go around calling it the Pussy Slayer.
We were probably going to end up with a name along the lines of something stupid. Again, like another 45-minute chat about
Hey, you calling Blood Brother stupid? Yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden thinks that whole conversation was stupid, but I thought we were just eliminating our options before we circled back to the next best one. And but even then, we didn't really like Blood Brothers to begin with.
Oh,
which is
that?
why we went on the 40-minute discussion, right?
So you're saying,
but classically, all party names, at least within our group, have been pretty bad, and we kind of settled on ones that we hate the least. Like, I remember the L5R one, Die Nasty. Oh my goodness, that's
I love
horrible.
that one. No, I love that one.
That's horrible.
That one's great. So you're saying that later on, if a better name comes up, you're just gonna straight up switch with no remorse?
I would.
Oh.
I would.
Oh. Hear that, other party members?
I think Blood Brothers is sticking for a long while, because just for the sake of convenience, we have the name. It's there.
The BB.
We're using it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys power up the ship. Storm's mourning over Radalac. Ryan mains the cannons. You jump into the crow's. Snow jumps into the crow's nest. Tokal is aboard. Maple's flying the ship.
What is Tokal doing throughout that entire time? Is he chilling on the deck?
I think he was praying over Radalac as well. Or he was trying to.
Ah, yes, that's what he was doing. But then, other than that, he did one thing when the paladins hooked us. Oh, he turned into an ape. That's right. That's what he did.
Yeah. He aped up. So the paladins chase you guys. One of them harpoons you and hooks you and drags you down to slow you so the others can catch up. Maple turns Tokal into a large giant ape who struggles to pull the large metal harpoon off. Maple thinks about fireballing the chain that holds the ships together. Ryan angles the cannon upwards and fires and explodes the ship that is grappling you, and it kind of falls to bits, and a few paladins jump off and manage to cling onto the side of your ship, and the giant ape's like, hey, fuck you. What's up?
It's weird, like, how that one cannon shot destroyed an entire ship, but back in the fight, it didn't even kill one of the big gnolls.
So 12d10 is a large spectrum of damage. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Ryan rolled 80, and I think previously it was like 50 or something, and that wasn't enough. So I don't know.
So you're saying gnolls on average, demon gnolls on average, have more health than a ship?
Flynn's? More than a hull? Probably. The Flynn's are big demon gnolls.
It just did a lot more damage than I thought it would. I thought maybe it would do some significant damage, but not blow up the ship. So that whole encounter was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, that's the name of the game this session. What was I saying? There's some guys clinging onto your ship. Giant ape starts flinging them the way. Ryan starts shooting some bolts at them to get their grips off. You start trying to shoot them, and you miss and ricochet off the side of the ship. And you guys speedily speed away back to the city of Furia, where the Steel Sister, whose name is Amalia, which I didn't mention because it never came up, comes to pick up Ryan from what you called the airport. And during the way back...
It was an airport pickup. Fantasy airport pickup.
Yes, and during the way back to Furia, there is a very heart-touching moments between Ryan and all the members of the party where they have a one-to-one conversation. They talk about some stuff, and they say their goodbyes, and some give gifts, some give farewells. And what did you think about Ryan's farewell whole bit?
Well, did you see what I did there? When Snow came up to Ryan for that last...
Yeah, I mean, he was going to do it anyway, I'm pretty sure. But
You're pretty sure. Yeah, but I wanted to make sure.
No, he was definitely going to do it. I'm not pretty sure. He was going to do it.
Okay. But I was making doubly sure, so...
All right. You
doing
double
it
sure.
for certain.
Double sure.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's... You have to do that. Gotta do it, you know?
Yeah, so he was going to do it. Yeah, he was going to do it.
Oh, we didn't know that, for sure.
I knew it for sure. Absolutely knew it for sure.
You're changing from pretty sure to for sure.
Because
I made it
extra
for sure
now.
But I made it for sure.
Yeah, I'm saying you didn't have to make it sure, but I like that you did.
But we didn't know for sure.
I knew for
if
sure.
He was gonna.
I knew for sure.
He could have left, and we could have had like a group goodbye. You know what I mean?
No, I knew for sure. I knew for sure.
Okay, whatever you say.
Because if you weren't going to do it, I was going to do it. But I knew for sure. I knew for sure.
Oh, now you say you were gonna do it. Okay.
Yeah.
The story changes.
No, story didn't change. This is the alternate timeline where if you didn't do it, I was going to do it. It
Okay,
would just be later on when you guys land.
Whatever you say.
I
So
knew
he
for
says
sure.
goodbye. He says goodbye to everyone, and it's very heartfelt. You know.
Hey,
talks.
No, we're not skipping over all of it. No, we're going to go through
I
each
was
conversation.
going to get into it. If you weren't going to interrupt me, I was about to get into it.
You said, and then he speaks to everyone. That's a general, broad, we're going to move on sentence.
He speaks to everyone one-on-one, and I was about to go into it, okay? You're making assumptions about things that are not there.
I know it for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Get into it.
Yeah.
Get into it. I'll let you get into it. Get into it.
He has a one-on-one with Snow. It's pretty awkward, and nothing really happens. And then he moves on to Tokul, who is whetstoning. As usual, he's whetstoning away, and there's this sweet conversation between how they go hunting together, and how once Tokul finally becomes king of the Ivory Vale, or he doesn't, or whatever, he's gonna come and back up Ryan to beat away the bad God Emperor that is Kristoff, and then they share more heartfelt moments, and then he gives him a whetstone, which he picked up in a place called Mirkwood, which doesn't exist. I remember you and I were just exchanging these weird, awkward looks.
I think he was thinking of Weird Water.
And you called it Weirdwood, and he's like, no, it's a Weirdwood, and I was like, yep. Yeah, I was like, Mirkwood isn't that like RuneScape, or like Warcraft or something?
That's not even RuneScape. I don't think Matt
I know
plays
it's like
Warcraft.
an actual play, like fantasy place. I just don't know.
Yeah, I recognize it from somewhere. Anyway, you skipped over Snow's part, right?
Well,
he
nothing happened.
He says no. He says something that I thought was quite memorable, where he said, "Hey, I'd follow you anywhere to the ends of the earth," and Snow says, "I wish you would. Like, I don't want you to go." You know what I mean?
No.
And I remember looking at you, and you were like, "Oh, that's
yeah, I
hitting
do
you in the
remember
feels."
that. You're right. It was. I don't know. It felt like it could have been more heartfelt. I think you were just playing into the edge of your character a lot, so it didn't reach the full potential it could have. I don't know. That's what I think.
Oh, you don't need to ham it up, you know. Keep things simple. But okay, we move on.
Yeah, it's just the way your characters interact. It's kind of how that was gonna go down. I think it was sweet, but yeah, Ryan. I guess Ryan if he got to go, he got to go. We'll talk about Ryan 2.0 when it comes
and
up.
wishing someone would stay when they're leaving is hardly edgy. You know what I mean? I mean, Snow's not the most emotional character, but there's some like vulnerability.
You're right.
He's
Yeah,
showing
you're
there.
right. You're right. It was a rare, touching moment between the two ex-edgy members of the squad. And then he moves on up to Maple. They have another conversation. I don't know why, but I think that one kind of got me the most. Maybe it was the slow build up from you to Tokul to Maple, and then the emotions came flooding out, and I legit got kind of teary. Maybe just after hearing like you, and then it was just like, oh, why am I feeling these things for fictional characters? But I did. And the sad music was playing in the background. Do you remember what they talked about?
I don't know. It was probably the longer ones, but no, I don't remember specifically what they were talking about. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I recall them calling each other brother, and all these other things, which I obviously don't really remember that much. I was so hard. I was trying so hard not to cry. But I just kind of zoned out. That one was really. Oh. Do you remember if Maple gave Ryan anything? I don't think he did, right?
No,
I don't think you did
I
either.
don't think.
I mean, to be fair, some of these gifts were kind of like, well, I don't know what the fuck is this, like a whetstone.
Hey, don't rap on the gifts, man. Don't rap on the gifts.
You're right. It's a heartfelt gift he found in Mirkwood.
You might not get the sentimentality of the gifts, but the players who give them, there's feeling behind that.
You're not about to tell me Matthew prepared the Mirkwood whetstone for this moment.
No, he thought it up on the spot, but it's the thought that counts.
That is true. That's true. Yeah, I don't think Maple gives him anything. It's just a nice hug, a general goodbye, and he goes on to Storm, which I'd argue they're rather close. They have another heartfelt conversation about general impressions, comedic impressions of races and whatnot. He gives him I recall, a bone dagger. Is that correct?
It was a dagger that he's kept since he left his home village.
Yep. And a scroll with instruction on how to do funny impressions.
Yes. The sacred scroll of comedy.
The sacred texts.
The crux of all Ubanian comedy.
And they laugh at how Ryan should be practicing it every night or something like that. And maybe that's how he gets into the throne room of God King, Mr. Christoph. And yeah. And then there's like a general silence. Yeah, you're right. I think all of them were really nice, especially yours, and I don't know why Maple's got me a lot. But
yeah, why did it get you? You don't even remember what he said.
I don't know exactly. Like, I don't remember why did this one get me the most?
Maple, if you're listening, fill us in on the deets.
Ooh, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Okay, well, let's not put that up.
No. I don't know if we're doing that. Yeah. This is our first official. Would you say first official character goodbye?
Yeah.
There's been character...
Yeah, if you put it that way, yes, it is. It is the first official in narrative character goodbye that wasn't just due to outside circumstances. Yes, you're right. It is the first of its kind.
And I don't know. This hit me more than any character dying probably could have.
Well, the thing is with the difference is with this, it's a character willingly leaving for
forever.
Yeah. Whereas a character dying, we're gonna bring him back. So
I mean,
there's not as much tension. Well, we have so far. We have
lost the high level cleric. Now you rely on revivifies now.
We lost a high level. We got a high level cleric, didn't we? Is he?
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. I mean, you lost.
He's a Tempest Cleric, right? I just wanted to confirm.
He is a Tempest Cleric.
Okay,
yes.
I thought so.
I mean, yeah. As soon as he did the thunder with the max call divinity thing, that was yeah. Yeah. There's no greater resurrection or whatever the spell is called anymore. So y'all need to rely on revivifies or
at least of liches. At least we don't have to rely on just Tokul to give us the, and we've got he's probably got some heals as well. It's not
actually, I don't know if he has revivify in his spells list. Currently
what kind of cleric doesn't have revivify in their spell list?
Currently maybe because I remember reading it earlier and I couldn't find it. Maybe it was there, maybe I missed it. Whatever.
Okay, anyway. Aiden, listen, all right. I've gone through this already, okay?
No.
You're a cleric.
I missed it.
You're a cleric, okay? Tokul's a paladin. He's not even meant to be the main healer. You're the cleric now, okay? You're the main guy that we rely upon. So make sure you always prepare Revivify, okay? Don't ever not prepare Revivify.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh.
Continue.
Hey.
Continue.
Okay. Yeah. It hit me. Did it hit you? Or was it just like, another day, another...
Oh, the character leaving.
Story.
The character leaving. I don't know. I think it wasn't as huge for me. I think if it wasn't built up over all these sessions, maybe it would have had a bigger impact if it was more like a sudden thing, like, oh, you're going now, you know? But I knew who was going, and I've known, I mean, we've all known that Ryan was going to go sometime, so there was quite a bit of expectation there that he was going to go. So
you could mentally prepare yourself.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, if it was more sudden, then yes, maybe it would have.
Okay. And so you guys get to the city of Huria after saying your goodbyes. You guys see this wyvern kind of chained up to the docks, and the steel sister chilling there next to it, waiting for Ryan to arrive. She's clad in this sick black steel armor. She's got the shield strapped to her back. She got the straight sword sheathed at her side. She looks cool. She's got the blonde hair. She's got the scowl on her face. She's kind of pale. She's kind of hot. She's kind of tall. And she got the sick platinum cape.
Are we ever gonna learn what happened to Zora? And like, cause she went evil, right?
In this campaign, no.
So it's not canon.
In this campaign, I don't think we're ever gonna get to the point where it becomes super relevant. Now that Ryan's not even in the party anymore.
But did you think of something for that?
No.
Okay.
Look, if it ever has the opportunity to come up, there'll be a reason. But as far as I can tell, it's not gonna be relevant, at least anymore in this campaign unless something crazy happens or a one shot is written. But until then, it's just out of my mind so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. I just thought maybe there's a conflict there. She possibly went crazy, made all the Steel Sisters evil, and now they're back and they're good. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Maybe there is still. I don't know.
Fun bit of trivia.
If there's going to be a one shot, I'm probably not going to be the one to run it.
If it comes up, it comes up.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, if Ryan gets his own mini one shot, it probably won't be me running that one. So, yeah, it'll be up to whoever runs that to figure out the lore behind that. But so far, it's out of sight, out of mind. And she's like, "Hey, Crom calls. We gotta go." And he's like, "Alright, let's go." And then they fly off into the distance, never to be seen again. And then explosion, city center, fire, pluming, smoke, atmosphere. You guys are like, "Oh shit." No, wait, no, you guys aren't like, "Oh shit." Storm's like, "Oh shit, we gotta go." And then Toko's like, "Oh shit, we gotta go." And then you and Maple like, yeah, we probably gotta go." And then you guys go, and you guys see this jet black raven man who, might I add, in Aiden's description of him, he did say he was 5'5", so I don't know if he changed it since then or not, but apparently he's not 5'5" anymore. But he's this broad-chested Aarakocran male who is strapped in plate armor. He's got a scimitar, he's got a warhammer, he's fighting these paladins, he's flying around, swoop, and you guys join him in battle because they're barring in the civilians in the Temple of Vosny, and they set it aflame, and they're trying to wait for them all to like burn from the inside and some fucked up paladin shit. And you guys pretty much sweep the floor with these paladins. If I recall correctly, Ravonaar does the call channel divinity on call lightning, and that does 50 damage each to fucking anything around him in a 5-foot radius. So he burns 2 to a crisp. You get a natural 20, and you fuck up one of the paladins barring the door, and you deal how much damage? It was like 80 something.
87 damage.
87 damage. Holy fuck. And then Maple right after that gets another natural 20, and he does 37 or 47 damage with a fireball.
He does nearly 40 or just over 40, around 40. Yeah.
And he burns one of the last paladin to a crisp, and that's a nice easy dust your hands
what's the
kind
deal?
of battle.
What's the paladin's deal? Like, I thought they were all about being very binary about what's good and bad, right? Isn't burning a bunch of innocent people in a temple, like, that kind of makes them the bad guys, right?
I mean, the first time you saw them in that one shot, a long, long time ago, they burnt a whole town down full of civilians merely because they mined a place that happened to have this demonic artifact. So I'd say they're pretty bad from a general observation.
They're the baddies. They're the baddies.
They think they're the goodies, but everyone else probably thinks they're the baddies. Type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. I'd say I go as far to say they're not very good people. And they try to burn down the temple. You guys stop them.
I mean, but
save a bunch of civilians.
They don't even do anything. They don't even pray in the traditional sense. They just, you know, it's kind of weird how Vosny has a temple where, just going off the way that Radalak talks about how you practice the religion just by doing things with Vosny in mind, is just like, that's good enough. Yeah. So like, why would you need a temple? And a temple is just, I think it's such a stationary thing for the god of safe passage, right? Like, I'd figure it'd be more of like something that would be on the move to represent what the god presides over, the domain that god presides over.
I think that's a fair assumption to make. The temple itself is more of a residence for disciples and whatnot to just kind of live in. And I think people come just to show their respects to both a bishop or a cleric or whatever station of religion you want to call it, and just kind of show their respect to the god themselves. And just because, I guess, it's not in the tenets to pray every day to X amount of gods, X amount of times, I think some people just kind of want to show their respect to them and just kind of at least try to get some favor. Because I want to say that a lot of people who pray to Vosny are people like merchants or captains or anybody who boards a ship in the next 24 hours who just kind of wants to get somewhere without some shit going down, because in this world a lot of shit goes down when you travel places. If you guys recall, there's like these little shrines that are kind of built up, and kind of like toss a gold into them or like a coin into them to pray for safe passage. This was mentioned like the very first time you entered Huria. I guess I haven't really brought them back up since, but they do exist. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really make sense for there to be a big temple.
I will give you like this though, because it's on a big fat turtle that moves around. So I guess if you say that's the only temple, and the only reason that they built it there is because it's on a thing that doesn't actually stay in one spot all the time.
I'd say it's more, they're just kind of in places where it's more of a travel hub, like the other one's in this giant port city, and this one is kind of also a port city in a desert airship, giant turtle, desert sea kind of a way. I don't know.
I probably wouldn't say port city.
I guess it's a good question,
because I think it would involve a lot of people coming and going a lot, and this turtle stops in places where I'd imagine doesn't have too much activity, and it stays there for a long time, right? Like a month, right? Like if it moved around a bit more, maybe you could call it a port city, because people would get on and off more often.
Get on and off, yeah. I have described this before, but there are various stops, because it goes around in a circle, right? The big turtle.
Yes.
And it's got like 8 stops along the way, or some 8 or 10. It's got a few stops on the way. And some of these are just kind of in the middle of nowhere. I fucking said it again.
Yes.
And some of these are in the middle of nowhere, and others are more on the edge of the continent where people can kind of alight and embark and whatnot. Say, like the first time you saw Huria, that was the connection point between pretty much the continent of Danithar and that point, and then where you are right now, when the city of Karthus is kind of is in the middle, is in the middle of the continent, where the two mountain ranges kind of, two mountain ranges collide, where the two mountain ranges collide with each other, and there's this passage, in between, like a valley in between these mountain ranges, where this would be the closest place you could get to what's that fucking place called?
Dornhelm.
Middle No Mansville. That's the word. That's the word.
That's the closest place. Aren't we in like way in the north?
No. The closest place to Alight from Huria. Yes.
Oh, okay.
To this place, yeah. But yeah, it'd still be a large fucking trek. And yeah, there's some stops where literally nobody can actually get there. One of them is just for like dwarves, just to drop off all the shit they mined or all the goods they want to sell and whatnot. And others are they're just kind of stops for no reason. Oh, excuse me. They're stops for no reason. And yeah, I guess it doesn't really make sense for there to be a temple. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't really think about it when I was making it. But as far as Kete goes, it's really more of a place where disciples can sleep. And then they send them off to go preach in other places, which was where which was what Ravonaar was doing for the past X amount of years.
He's like
3 years.
Evangelist, wasn't he? Evangelist.
Yeah, like a preacher. Goes around helping people. What do you think about Ravonaar's accent?
I think Aiden does a good job of doing the New Zealand accent. It fits with the character he's going for. It was certainly less jarring than when I first heard Storm's New York accent. But I think that's just because I've been hearing Storm's accent for so long now that it's kind of ingrained in me. Okay, people have wacky accents in this world. I've come to accept that. So when Ravonaar comes out with his New Zealand accent, I just kind of took it in stride, you know. And I think in some ways, fantasy need not be tied down by what's conventionally like a fantasy accent or what you would normally hear in a fantasy setting. Yes, it can be immersion breaking if that's all you've known about fantasy or what fantasy is. But I think, yeah, it can be a good thing, you know, breaking down what can and cannot be fantasy. And fantasy can be pretty much anything you can think of.
Yeah.
So yes, I thought he was fine. And he does a good job of it. So, yeah, props to him.
I actually think that this was more distracting compared to Storm's one. I even knew this accent was coming, but when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, it's this. And like the whole time I just couldn't stop thinking like, hey, it's Korg. Hey, it's Korg. And I was like, hey, it's Korg. And the whole time I was like, yep, that's that character. But after a few sessions, I'll be like, oh yeah, now it's Ravonaar. It's no longer Korg, but now Ravonaar. But I think for the moment it's distracting to me at least.
Yeah, well, it just comes back to like breaking down your preconceptions of like what you tie to that accent, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I just see it's not the accent itself; it's more the character kind of behind the accent.
No, I understand.
Like,
I understand, but Korg as a character has a pretty, and it's just what's his name, Tahiti. I don't know how to say that guy's name.
Fuck, I forgot his name.
But he's like the director of like that
yeah.
one, right? The Thor movies. And that's mostly just like a fairly, maybe played up a little bit, fairly normal New Zealand.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. That's his name. That's a fairly normal New Zealand accent. So I didn't really, maybe you don't have a lot of exposure to like that accent, so that's what you just think of when you hear it. But yeah, I didn't, like, I definitely was reminded like, oh yes, Aiden was trying to go for like kind of a Korg type character, and I get that, but that wasn't as distracting to me because, you know, there's a whole other nation of people who speak like this or similar to that, so that didn't really bother me too much. And then of course listening to Storm's accent with the, you know, the New York accent, which isn't the best. Okay, Lewis, a bit of a criticism there. It's not the best. It's not the best impression, but you know, it doesn't annoy me now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like I said, it'll just take some time to get used to.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna be a good fit in the party?
I don't know. If we hate him, we'll kill him. That's it.
Oh.
We'll kill him.
What?
And Aiden, you will have to make a new character. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit. God damn, you guys, the Blood Brothers are merciless. Okay. You guys do that. There's this moment, kind of immersion breaking moment where Ravonaar's like, hey, let's join up together. And usually you guys will be like, nah. But because it's Aiden, it's like, yeah.
Actually,
right.
I thought
guess
that
so.
that part was a lot better.
Justified?
Was a lot better than the other parts, right? I did like when I was talking as Snow about him going to where he was going and like asking what his plans were. That's what I was trying to suss out, right? What his plans were, because at first it didn't really make sense because he was the guy in charge of the temple while Radalak's away, and now that Radalak's dead, you know, given that we didn't know anything else at the time, he'd have to be the guy to stay and look after things, right? And then like the temple burnt down, but you said it didn't really burn down, so it's still there. There's still something to look after. So I was just kind of poking him with a few questions like, hey, like, what's your plan? What do you intend to do? You're gonna look after the temple now? And I let him as the character, you know, explain like what his deal is and like indirectly give his reasons for going out on an adventure. And he said like, oh, well, I'm not actually the guy. I'm actually just the guy who minds it for the time. And then, you know, if Radalak doesn't come back, then I gotta go fetch the other. I gotta go fetch the other guy. And then I think, you know, by the time we reach that point, he fetches the other guy. His quest is complete, and he's like, well, that's it. You know, that's all I got to do for the church. So, I mean, if you guys have room, you know, we gel so well together, you know, and we were like, yeah, okay, yeah, come along. So I think that was better. It's better than Ryan, who was just like, oh, I'm here now. I like do stuff for the elves. Oh, let me follow you around. And then basically it wasn't anything more than that, and he just became a member of the party, right? And Maple as well wasn't that great. Not as bad as Ryan, where he just followed us around until we became a member of the party, but like we saved Maple, and Maple was like, oh, thanks. We tag along with him, and then, you know, we slowly get to know him more, and then he's a member of the party. But like, that's just some like jumping over some narrative logistics to, you know, keep him in the party. But this time, it's like, we didn't say like, hey, join our crew. We just lost the guy. We didn't say that. We're just saying, I remember saying to Snow, hey, look, our paths align for now, and we'll see where it takes us. Well, that's kind of what I was trying to go for, the meaning I was trying to convey to Ravonaar. But I know in the end, right, how I foresee it, when his thing for the temple is done, he'll join us. And I think it'll be fine by that point. Unless you had a differing opinion on that.
No, now that you kind of put it like that, I do agree that his one is probably the smoothest transition into the party, at least because he is rather well connected to at least Storm and the Temple of Osni, that it just naturally happens that your paths do align until a certain point.
Yeah,
and that's saying so much more than any other character that's been introduced
also,
so far.
He's along for the short term as well, because he's got the mark, and his brother's with Ravnis Solus.
Nope.
What's this guy? Ravnica.
Nope. That's Magic the Gathering.
Ravnica. All right.
Nope. No, that's not it.
The other bird guy. All right.
Yep.
The bigger black chicken. Okay.
Okay.
Ravna, right? It's Ravna.
Nope. No, it's Ravrim.
Ravrim.
I'm glad you remember the characters in this the story.
Okay. You know what? They both almost have the same name, okay? I'm not the one who made it that confusing. I would have remembered Ravrin, but now that we have Ravonaar, that just like fucks everything. It's like one syllable difference, right? Surely you'd see the confusion there.
Ravarum and Ravonaar. I guess so.
But yeah, so he's along with us going towards Ravrin, okay?
Rum, like like you drink rum, like pirates drink rum.
Is it Ravrum or Ravrin?
Rum, R-U-M.
Okay, I've been getting it wrong the entire time.
Like Raven and like rum, because he's a raven.
No, I thought it was Ravrin. I even typed it like that, Ravrin, in the notes, and nobody.
You guys type everything wrong.
Nobody corrects me. I was typing it
after a while. I'm like, you know what? I'll let them type the way they want to type.
No way. You normally put it in, right? Oh, I could have sworn I saw you type it like Ravrin. Okay, whatever. Ravrum. Okay, Ravrum. I'll make the correction in my mind.
All right, we'll come back to it.
No, we don't have to come back to it. It's done. That point is Ravrum now. Ravrum.
Okay.
Hey, get in the comments, okay? Was it Ravrum? Did everyone remember it as Ravrum? Or was that just me, right?
Do you think it's more because it's been set up for like 6 or 7 sessions now that this character is a priority, like an already existing character in the universe, rather than someone that just kind of pops up out of thin air that makes the transition that much smoother?
I think that's part of it. It does play a part, yes.
Okay.
But I also think another big part that plays is how the events turned out the way they did. Because it could have not gone that way, you know. We could have.
True.
Storm could have made the split decisions. Hey, there's explosion in the temple. I don't want to screw with the paladins. Let's just go away. Then what were you gonna do, right? Then what were you gonna do?
Yeah, appears out of thin air, you know. I don't know.
Then it would have been wonky, right? It would have been a bit wonky, and then it would go back to the standard of character introductions where they just come in and they follow us around, and then they're part of the party just by way of osmosis, right? Which is a
Plan B. I didn't really think about it this time, but I think Plan B would have been he'd probably just be with his brother, and you guys would meet up, because you guys eventually would have to find Eliwick again, and he'd probably just be with his brother at that point.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I guess that's less impactful than burning temple and saving a temple with each other.
I think that like would lessen the because he's with us he's joining us to go to Ravrum, so there's more in parallel we have with Ravonaar at this time. So yeah, I mean, yes, it went the more favorable way, so we don't have to think of the other way.
Thankfully. Yeah, I'm glad at least Storm kind of pieces all together. Like, oh yeah, it's a guy who looks like Ravrum, and we've talked about Ravrin's brother and how his brother was also a disciple of Vosni like 5 sessions ago. And so I guess that also, just the connection of dots, made it much more believable at least.
Yeah, and
so
I guess
if there's like an unknown character that I start talking about for some reason, you better expect a character change at some point, or someone dying. I don't know.
Maybe if you remember to do it, you know, what? Okay, probably not the place to talk about it. The podcast.
And what are we talking about?
But we've been talking about a thing, right? We've been talking about a thing. You know, we've been talking about a thing.
Oh, we've been talking
about a thing. I don't know if it's the right place to talk about it now, but we're talking about a thing, right?
We're not talking about a thing here.
But are you planning like a similar thing when we're talking about the thing?
Look, when things happen, they happen. Sometimes they happen.
Okay.
And sometimes they happen.
Okay, you just said that. Hey, if there's like a new unknown, hey, think about it, right?
Yeah, just think about it.
But now it's out the window. Now it's out the window. Okay.
Who's dying next?
All right, that's how we're gonna play it. All right.
And you guys are like, hey, let's go. Let's jet. Let's Viking funeral Radalak. You shoot the fire arrow onto the sand skiff, and he burns in this pyre of flames. And you guys move on. You guys fly away into the desert to go towards the stony spire where Maple messages Ravram, and Ravram's like, "Yeah, nah, we on the hunt," and he hangs up, and then Maple's like, "Oh shit, I should call Eliwick," and then there's some banter between the boys about, "Hey, it sounds like you two have a special relationship with one another," and there's like, "Haha," and then you guys decide to rendezvous at the first temple you guys met up at, and after a while, you guys get there and it ends there, right? Is that the gist of the session? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, well, Ravonaar picks up on the romantic tension between Maple and Eliwick, and
Yeah, he
we're
does.
like, hey, we've known this guy for only like an hour, and even he knows, you know what I mean? So Maple, get that gnome, you know, get it.
Get that gnome goodness. Yeah. How would the logistic know? We're not talking about.
I think it's fairly logistical, you know.
There was a physical discussion at the end of the session about. Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. I think it was a rather good session. I'm not gonna put a number on it because, you know what, Kevin, I'm done. I'm done with numbers. I'm done with ratings. It was a good session.
Okay. In comparison to all the other ones, it would have been like your top 3, top 10.
Hey.
No, this is not numbers. This is rankings now. This is a new system.
That's still a number.
It's not. I mean,
I'm done with numbers.
I'm saying,
I'm done with
is it
numbers.
within your top 10? You don't have to say where within it's your top 10. Like,
I don't-
it could be
I-
your number 1, and I wouldn't know, right? Because you just said it's in your top 10. So, but at
I-
least I know, like, in terms of enjoyment, like you know, it's up there, right? You know, it's not numbers. You know, we're not doing arbitrary numbers. You're right. It's a bad system. Like,
Hey, this is arbitrary numbers.
No. It's rankings. It's rankings different. It involves numbers, but it fundamentally works differently from ratings. Okay. Now we're pitting the sessions against each other, like a dogfight, like a cockfight. You know what I mean? It's not like we're giving them a grade. You know, this is S grade.
We're just making them
this
fight
is
to the
B
death.
grade, but this one is good in comparison to this one. So, in this session, would it be within your top 10? And if not, your top 20?
It's in my top 20.
Oh, but not in your top 10.
No, I didn't say that. It could be in the top 10, but I'm just saying it's in the top 20.
Okay. No, that's fair assessment. That's fair. You see?
Yeah.
You see how it's different? It's not the same, right?
It's different. I could say anything. It could be
Yeah,
anything.
you could say
top
anything.
20 could be garbage. Because there's only been 60 sessions, so it's...
Oh, yeah,
Top
that's
20.
the top 33%. You're right. 61 sessions, right? 61?
This one was 61, yeah.
Yeah.
61.
So, less than 33%. The top less than 33%. So, yeah, I mean, the top third means that it's better than average, right? Because you would say that the middle 33%
you're thinking
would
too
be
deep.
like,
You're thinking too
would be
deep.
like
It's
a bit
just
too
a
average,
good
and then the
session,
bottom
and that's all it
30,
is.
the
No,
bottom
it's just a good
30% would
session.
be pretty bad.
And some
So,
other sessions were
this
also
is
good,
actually
and some other
pretty
sessions were not
good.
so good.
So we got a
It's
pretty good
session.
idea. So you see,
Not relative
rankings
to
is
anything.
good.
It's just a good session.
It's rankings is. What do you
Just
mean
a
not
good
relative
session.
to 20? You said top 20. It's in top 20. Okay, top 20. We're accepting that. It's canon.
Oh, hey, we got a message in the D&D chat general from Ravonaar Solus. He asked what people thought of the New Zealand accent, and I guess he's gonna get the answer once this is uploaded.
Yeah, I mean, get in the comments. You know, get it.
Get in the comments.
Yeah, comment about yourself. What do you think about your own accent? You know.
Email us.
No, don't email us. Don't email us.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Don't bother.
hit that
Don't
bell
bother
button.
doing that either. Just like, you know, we make this podcast mainly for the party because they're the only ones who know about it and bother to listen.
Oh, now they do listen, huh? After last podcast, they all came out saying they listen.
Yeah, they just came out of the rat work after we called them out. Like, it doesn't have to come down to that, you know. You got to be diligent with your podcast listenings, all right?
Yeah, you had to call them out for them to come out, huh?
Oh, when is it? It's like every week I'm calling them out, and for some reason
Yeah, it's every week.
the last week they're like,
You struck a chord, you struck a
oh,
chord."
well, I listen, I just don't say anything. Blah, 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 blah. No, I hardly believe that. Okay,
Oh.
I know how you really feel about this podcast. Okay, I know you feel that, you know, us talking about rankings versus ratings is arbitrary. Maybe you think the whole podcast is arbitrary. Maybe this is the last podcast. Okay,
Stop.
Birthday podcast. Last podcast. Episode 24, Albert's
the last
24, okay?
Wait, holy shit, you're right. Whoa.
I was talking about that while you were getting sung to. I was like making the connection in my head.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know singing occurred this podcast, and the editing will show that.
Look, Albert will edit it out, but unless he cuts this one out, then you'll never know.
You think I'm not gonna bleep that as well? I'll bleep it. I'm crazy. I'll do anything. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll make sure I'll say it in the episode discussion, okay? And if you delete that, I'll keep saying it.
Wow. Alright, this has been Far Kingdoms podcast.
Episode 24. 24.
And we'll see you guys next time.
For 25. Quarter life crisis. Hey! Hey!
Huh?
Get a comment! Hey!
No, stop.
Oh!